A while back I was in my local hobby shop looking over a kit with a friend of mine who actually manages the store. The kit looked pretty good, and I asked him to order me another one. And he asked me why I needed another one, and I said for when I screwed this one up. He seemed a little surprised, and he remarked, "You make mistakes?" And I said, "Yeah, all the time." I was actually more surprised that he thought I didn't make mistakes. I just reckon everybody makes mistakes. It just seems to go with the process. There's sort of two schools of thought. You learn from your mistakes, and you learn by figuring out how not to make mistakes. If you take each to their extreme, you either go around willy-nilly making mistakes under the guise that you're learning, or you could spend all your time pondering how not to make mistakes and never get anything done. The truth is it's a continuum, and most of us fall somewhere in between the two extremes. You're building a kit and the parts don't fit, or they just don't look right. Instructions are wrong or incomplete. Or maybe you're building something from scratch and you build yourself into a corner. Whatever the issue, things just aren't going quite right. What do you do? For me, it's just a given. You do things, and sometimes mistakes happen. The important thing is, what do you do when the mistakes happen? It's pretty hard not to be at least a bit OCD when your hobby revolves around small details that for the most part are only significant to you. So just throwing some paint over it and forgetting about it isn't usually what first comes to mind. But it's been more than once that I've looked over a paint mule and wondered why I scrapped it in the first place. And I'm reminded of a personal experience from my early college years when music was my main focus. I was in a small group clinic with the renowned drummer Ed Shaughnessy, and he was walking us through his methods to refine stick control, and he said you want to be definite and lay it in clean, so if you make a mistake, at least they think you meant it.
Buddy Rich, Eddie Shaughnessy.
But when something just flat gets botched, and there seems like there's no way to get around it, I have another anecdote from dental school that I draw on. Without getting too technical, it was my first year in pre-clinical. We were asked to do something that I knew from my previous experience in a dental lab wasn't going to work. But by the time the head of the department caught it, we'd all pretty much gone through the exercise. I was sitting at my bench grumbling about the futility of the whole project, and an instructor came over and asked me what was the problem. Even though he knew it was impossible, he said, "Let's see what we can do about it." So he sat down at my bench and he took a little knife-edged stone, and he slowly and patiently worked his way around. And when he got through, he said, "What do you think?" We both knew it wasn't right, but it did look the part. So over the years, I've learned to temper my first inclination and bend something when it isn't perfect right from the start. I've found that it's better to take a pause and see what I can do. Or maybe it's done well enough that it looks like it's supposed to be that way. Since mistakes are just part of the process, being able to handle the fixes, or maybe just accepting them, is just another essential skill. Perhaps it's not so much about how you fixed a particular mistake, but about how you approach mistakes in general. Getting comfortable with the fact that mistakes just happen. So how do you handle mistakes?